Hey guys, I just want to say that there are times where the camera cuts out and stops recording, and then I lose some audio as well as some of the footage. I do apologize for that, but it's just sort of kind of tricky to manage the camera since it automatically turns off after a certain amount of time. Don't know how to fix it, still haven't figured that out, but yeah, hopefully you guys can still enjoy the video though. Alright, back to it. It is that time, actually. Thought Dumpster 3, which has been crazy. It's actually really crazy because the spine is sort of wearing out a little bit. But we finished the sketchbook now. It's less than a year, and I think it's time to take a look at it. So I started this in January 26, 2024, which, it's going to be a memorable year, that's for sure. Both good and bad really happened, basically for the duration of this sketchbook. And I don't really note it at all, but it's just been a wild few months, essentially. Anyways, so some sticky notes with like some thumbnailing. I thought it'd be really cool. You'll see little stickers here, like this guy, that is from one of my friends that I've made in graphic design. A really cool person, and I wish them the best. You can sort of see old design peeking through, but the old design inspired the new design. I realized that I have issues with doing colors traditionally. Not great. But that's something that I hope to work on in the future. Anyways, so this is like the first thing that I decided to draw at the time. It was like a trend to do God OCs, doing your God persona type thing. So that's sort of what I went with. Someone who has floating eyeballs and sort of controls shadow and darkness, making them tangible, as well as like not being able to actually see with their own eyes. And there's like some things that that is inspired by like fantasy slash oriental wear type thing. So that was actually the drawing from it. The neck is a bit long, I've realized that now, but like other than that, it was a really cool design, and I had a lot of fun sort of looking up references for like clothing folds and like doing that drawing. So this is one of my favorite drawings. Just some spreads. Something I want to do in the future is work on making nicer spreads and actually making a nicer sketchbook. This was like a start of that, and I know like a sketchbook should be a place that you could feel free to draw and like experiment and do a whole bunch of things, but it just sort of makes it not as exciting to flip through in a way. So I hope to do like practice drawings and like sort of studies and whatnot, but also to do some spreads that look really interesting and cool. This was the first page design here, so I'll like flip to somewhere in the beginning and I'll start like designing what to put on the first page. This is called Thought Dumpsters. If you haven't been here for a while, I've had so many sketchbooks, but I feel like this is sort of like a start of a new era for me of sketchbooks. So they're called Thought Dumpsters because a lot of thoughts are dumped into these pages, and I thought it would be really funny to do like a trash can because that's what's going to happen. So you can see like I played a bit with type here, hand type, and then that's why the front's like this and the side, and yeah, it's an imprint on myself. And then also the thought of it being like a sumi brush strokes as well, and that's sort of where this style came from. It's like retro Japanese. So yeah, really fun stuff, cool ideas for the first page. Another spread, did some realism, tried some reference stuff, hands, still trying to work on them, and like faces. I am noting that I have more style nowadays, and it's just really interesting to see. For a moment, actually, recently, I thought that I don't know how to do realism, so it's a bit of a relief later on when I realized, like, yeah, I could still kind of draw realistic faces from references. So yeah, a very blue spread. This is like sort of me trying to figure out how to make these things more interesting per se. I feel like it's a bit too bright. I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. But yeah, so like just a very blue spread, some flower references, people drawing and like using these Tombow brush pens, which I've had them for like a few years now, but I find them sort of kind of difficult to use because I'm not very colorful when it comes to traditional art, and then on top of that it's watercolor markers, so they act a bit differently than alcohol markers and would benefit from having probably some water and a brush. But yeah, this is Lucifer. He belongs in... Where do you belong in? He belongs in a world where there are, I think, 7 to 12 different races, humans included. So there's like humans, angels, werewolves, vampires, shifters into other animals, witches, I think, is in there, and like some other beings. And they all live on one like huge massive landmass, and it's divided into sections, and humans are at like the bottom of the food chain. They're in like the pits, and there are representatives from each sectors that like are supposed to sort of maintain and help their region and their people out, and the human representatives don't do a very good job because it's poverty. So once people get in to being a representative, which is a random selection, they just keep eating and like being greedy, and they don't do anything for the region. The counterpart to Lucifer does decide to do something because she's very indifferent, and she's like, well, I'm here for a reason, I have a job to do, so I might as well do it. So yeah, like that's where he belongs. And you can see like there's a little thumbnail of the two that height different wise. And this is actually that character. So Renee Lawrence is the new human representative. She starts off with like really short hair, and there's like little details like this where it's like her earrings were torn out, and that's why her hair is so short, so people can't grab it because it's really rough in the human sector. And that's because like a lot of jobs, it's like why have humans do that job when well, we have magic and stuff like that. So eventually she does grow out her hair, and she is a lot happier then. But yeah, so she's like one of the first OCs, like at the very beginning, before I even started really drawing them. Her story was planned out a little bit more. I had goals for the sketchbook. It's a bit weird, challenging myself, creatively learning things, trying things like drawing animals, and making like a neater sketchbook, trying different styles as you can see here, you know, and just exploration a bit more. This is also part of the exploration because I don't usually do like anything finished in sketchbooks very often anymore. Like ever since high school, I think grade like 11, I stopped really doing final pieces in sketchbooks because usually I had to do like larger pieces. Cat references are very helpful because those are not with references and they were rough. But yeah, very cool piece, and it really sort of pushed me and tried a different take with I think it was like fine liners, I think. Fine liners and brush pens. But yeah. A little spread, Winter Foster. If you've been around on the channel long enough, you'll know her. A very old character. Her story is sort of unfinished. Oops. But yeah, so I've been sort of stepping away from drawing like the high school romance things. From sort of doing that because it's sort of hard to write high schoolers when you're no longer in high schooler. And on top of that, I was never really a typical high schooler, so it was a bit different. Trying different environments. This might have been actually to do my desktop, which you could sort of see in the background here. But yeah, sort of figuring out what did I want to draw for my desktop's background digitally. As I mentioned, like a spread that's interesting. This has to be pretty interesting. Sort of like one of those crazy psycho characters type thing. And I think I just picked a random color. It just happened to be like this toxic green, and then I just went for it. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. Hands, not bad at all. Another interesting spread. This was like a hoodie that I found on Pinterest, and then I sort of like changed it a bit with like I think the collars gave it an outfit, and I thought it'd be really funny if it was like a little stuffed monster. So yeah, my little buddy Timmy. And just playing with some like type stuff too. We reached 100 subs. Yeah, that's a thing. That happened this year, which was very exciting and one of the highlights of the year. So thank you guys very much for that, if you guys seen the videos. But also like a cool, different little style. It's a lot cuter and very playful. And then this was just like a drawing that I really liked as well. Which, is there a speed painting of that? I don't know. But yeah, so this was like a really fun, a very cute style too. And just playing with something different. I think it was like Procreate or something like that. So yeah. Character design. Okay, this story is like really rough because I have no direction for it, and I sort of like, you know, try to figure these things out myself just because it gives me a little brain exercise to do. I feel like recently I've been really wanting to stimulate my brain a bit more, and I found that the most stimulated brain I had was in university and when I was learning a lot. So yeah, I'm trying to push myself to actually like learn more outside of the usual science stuff, and yeah. So this is like a hunter, which is like in a world where there's a lot of supernatural beings and humans. Hunters are supposed to find the balance between all species, so they're sort of like the judge, jury, and executor, and they used to be really good at this until they started sort of procreating with humans, and then the half hunter, half human started to be greedy for things and started killing off hunters. The rules for the hunters is that only a full hunter or a half hunter can kill them. Anyone less than that can't. And she's like the only one that's ever remaining now, other than, I think, spoilers, other than her half brother that's still alive. And yikes. But yeah, so they have. I'm debating if I should give them shadow manipulation, being able to control all shadows, because she goes a while without her eyes, because they've been like scooped out and preserved, because they're like this violet purple color, which you'll see in the future. But yeah, so like it was just like a thought to sort of flesh out like a character that is supposed to be the meaning of like balance and harmony. One of the really cool things, though, I liked was that it was foot wraps, and then she could add, like, this extra sole part here to it if she needed extra protection, but chances are she probably won't, because something about feeling everything with her feet would be good. And then there's, like, different regions as well, and she's from the Oriental regions. I think there's supposed to be 7 regions, 100 at least for each regions, possibly, but they have died out, maybe. I don't know. It's still up for debate. Maybe I'll have all 7 of them come together at some point. I don't know. But that's why her story is really unfinished. And there's like different ones, because when she first wakes up and is introduced, she's like in a dress, and she's like, what in the world did they put me in? But yeah. Well, these are just like more concepts of her. I was debating between long hair or short hair, but I think I found her hairstyle. There is the one that like she comes out from the dungeons with, and then there's the one that she rathers or prefers because it's more practical. Main weapon, katanas. It's straight though, completely without the guards on it, and like just different thumbnail ideas for her concept pieces. As I said, her eyes are like these unnatural, vibrant colors, and like you'll see depictions of her like crying type thing without having her eyes filled in, because yeah, majority of it is without her eyes, since they were like prized possessions, and that sort of like kicked off the whole like slaughtering of hunters. But yeah, this is like a really cool piece with the blindfold, and like I imagine sometimes if she cries or something, it might get wet with blood as well. That's something I have to look into a bit more. But like the broken halo, because they're no longer like signs of peace and balance and stuff like that, and her outfit being inspired by like traditional Oriental wear from both, I think, Japan, a little bit of maybe Mongolian and Cambodian, and like Chinese. But yeah, so I sort of settled for this as her hairstyle, playing around with different elements, the rope that binds her together. She can like sort of summon weapons to her, but the weapons have to have connections to the hunter. So because she's an adult now, and the connection of weapons she had was from when she was a kid, a lot of the weapons seem to be too small for her, or doesn't seem to fit her very well anymore, because you've changed from a child to an adult. And she's basically like almost immortal, aside from her half-brother type thing. So yeah, really cool, and like I like the idea of them eventually meeting a blacksmith that's from her original region, and they sort of bond a little bit, and they like he forges weapons from her region just because it's like, oh, you genuinely appreciate it, and that's where she starts to summon new weapons that the blacksmiths have made. This was after, hold up, am I missing a page? No. This was for the sort of interview thing with Ricard. Very fun, and I thought it'd be really cool to do something in the background as well. So I was like thumbnailing some things for it and just drawing, you know. They have guinea pigs and their team behind their videos, so yeah. Oh man, this is gonna haunt me for the rest of my time. Yeah, I faced a large section of this sketchbook. I faced an art block, and that's why a lot of the sketches are like really rough or incomplete or something. I was reaching a point where I didn't know what to draw, and I really didn't feel like drawing, which was very unfortunate and sort of sucks. Oscar looks like he wants to go out. Oscar might end up going out. Hold, please. You want to go out? Okay. Don't go chasing butterflies. If you find that chipmunk, though, feel free. Oh man, what a cutie. I love Oscar a lot. But yeah, no, so it was like, there's this thing that my family loves eating because we used to have a Baskers fair in my town, and there would be like this free sample place where they did like, they got baguettes and they sliced it, and then they put like brie cheese and apricot on it, like preserved apricot, and then we switched to apricot for peaches, so now we do like brie cheese with the baguettes and then peach slices, and it's pretty freaking good. So I thought like I was gonna do like a snack character series, and yeah, a bit weird, not gonna lie. This was really cute though, if that was like a finished piece. But yeah. This was, I picked random colors and I was like, I'll try doing more colorful stuff. So this is my attempt on doing more colorful stuff. This one's my favorite one out of the two. But I just chose 3 colors and it just really came together a lot better. I think this one was from my head and that's why it suffered a little bit. But yeah, this one's really cool. Yeah, so these were like unfinished. I need to stretch my drawing muscles a bit more. I think at this time I was taking like weeks off from drawing before jumping back in, which is not great to do. But I was like, reference from my head? Question mark. I know I think I got the hair as a reference from somewhere. And I was trying to figure out if I wanted that hair for the hunter character or for the prince that, oh yikes, the introduction to the story is quite wild, let me tell you. But yeah, so I was just doing some warm-ups and like more drawings of the hunter character. She's been a real mood for me lately. I think it's just like a really cool character concept, but now it's like, where do I fit her in? And at the time I was watching something that's like, you should not try to make a character and then try making the story around them. You should make the story and then develop the characters from that. But it's been really tricky to do that. But yeah, I sort of like this version. It's like really suits her. Just more warm-up stuff, some things from reference, some things weren't, and trying to add more color into the sketchbook. Once again, see the hunter, Choppy, she will cut it with knives and stuff, even though that can hurt like a mother trucker. Even though it can hurt a lot, especially if the weapon's dull. But yeah, she will do that. And then I was just like drawing weapons. She would have it straight without having the guard on it. And yeah, this is also her in the European outfit. I have to let Oscar in. Give me a second. Come on. But yeah, that would be like her in the oriental outfit and then her magic ability of being able to manipulate and change shadows. But yeah, she'd have a sword, a spear, being able to summon. I was debating if I wanted her to have a chained weapon, but I don't think so. And arrows. So she has a bow and arrow, and the first set that she's currently having is one that was given to her by her father. And it is kid size, so not so great, but eventually that will get upgraded. But yeah, these are just like more thumbnails. I really liked that one, and then that would have been the prince possibly. The composition of this one too is really cool. I think we'll get into this later, but yeah, just some warm-ups, hand drawings, gotta love them. This was for portfolio stuff, it would seem. Yeah, this is definitely portfolio stuff. I must have packed away my graphic design book because, yeah, that's why this is here. And I was working on what do I want to do my portfolio like. So yeah. Random spread. This was by head, but I thought sticking stickers on faces was really fun at the time, and it sort of changed the pace of things, especially for me, because I was like, what do I even like drawing nowadays? Trying out hairs as well. References. That's questionable. I don't know. And I've been drawing faces too long. Sometimes it's like too short, sometimes too long. It's really hard to tell. But yeah, you can see there's also a bit of stylizing here. I think this is a different character. Her name's Emmeline something. I think ex-military special forces, and she was married, but there was a divorce between them. And then it's like a second chances type storyline, so a bit of romance is in there, but it's more like trying to heal herself first before trying to jump back into it, and yeah, that type of shenanigans. I think it surprises a lot of people that I would be interested in writing some romance things. I don't know, I think it's really cute and whatnot, and it sort of like heals a part of the world, but I think the other thing too is that I sort of kind of struggle with trying to figure out what would a plot be without it, in a way, and because I usually like pitting two opposing like characters sort of in it together, stuck in it. These two are for Lucielle, which is the Royal Guard, first ever female Royal Guard, with her partner, which is one of the princes, is the older prince, and enemies to lovers, except for she doesn't really think of him like an enemy. He just doesn't like her at first, so yeah. And then Hunter, again. See, like I've mentioned, there's a lot of like Hunter character drawings. And I think this is actually Brielle, maybe? Question mark? It's questionable. Weapons drawing. Oh, concept pieces. See, I told you a lot of Hunter things. And this is like wondering if I should bring in the 7 Hunters into this time period or something like that. So it was like really questionable. But yeah, so a lot of these are depicted without her eyes because she had her eyes taken from her. Very grim, but oops. Scene stuff, see? And then this is like more notes, trying to flesh it out a bit more. Oscar, did you lose something? Give me a second. Oscar's being scratchy. What did you lose? Oh. He had a toy stuck somewhere. Ink drawings. I found my True Reds pen, which I've talked about before, and then I was just going to town on it. This was in real life, in my head, more things in my head, like little landscape stuff, because I liked doing it before. Homage to Nith van der Wal. Cool character. If you've been around for a little, you'd know. And yeah, it's just interesting to see how style. It's always a joy to cause some misery, apparently. Okay, so Arrow, like, once again, it's like shadowing through her eyes and like the trauma and stuff that she's went through. I didn't finish the arms because I was really struggling onto how that would look. And then when I did the pants like this, I really was just like, this is it. I'm not, no more. This will be revisited though, because it's just a really cool composition. And yeah. Hands. This is warm-up stuff again. because like I was taking such long breaks, and I thought like looking up references would help with the block that I was in, but nothing really cuts it, and it's still like sort of kind of ongoing. You'll see at the end that I was really pushing myself to try and finish this sketchbook. This is just a random character inspired by crows. And I thought, like, you know, they'd be a coffee drinker and something like that. But crows can't drink coffee. It's actually sort of kind of dangerous for them. So it's a tea drinker. And yeah, he was just really cool. So I just sort of kept him a very dapper man. Some more reference and just like, this is a pretty neat spread. Going back to that character. Wondering if I'd give him like cuffs or something. And like just practicing drawing and whatnot. Oh yeah. Oh, and like teacups and stuff too. But that was cool. That's references and this is references, but it was fun. This was also done with a reference. It's really cute. I tried really hard, and it was another hope to get me back into drawing. But yeah, I think I used charcoal for this, so that was different. Oh, and there is a fixative on it, so then it shouldn't smudge, really. Yeah. So that's good. That's Winter Foster. Her outfits. I think I was doing like hairstyles for different characters in that storyline, but they're all teenagers. It's really hard. I'm telling you, I should have done this when I was in high school so I knew more. But I feel like I'm just a bit too mature for that. I acted like I was 65 years old when I was in high school, and yeah, it's weird. That was like an idea that you will see later on. This is Karina. She's a very talented witch, and unfortunately she had been ambushed and a demon clung onto her and is trying to kill her, so that's always nice. That's how you want to get on with your formative years, is having a demon after your soul. But yeah. Once again, Hunter, this is like the spider potion things, and I'd like to imagine like it could be venom in there for all I know, or it could be like something beneficial, so like it varies, and this would be like in a fantasy world. This is redrawing, it's like a this to that. There was a male with a butterfly and a flower crown, and that's all I recall of it, and this is sort of like the thumbnail idea to hopefully redraw that one day. Just figure drawing from references. Did I take any notes from this? Not really. But it was nice to sort of be able to be mindless and like pick out details about like the human body that obviously isn't ingrained in my head. I know it's sort of like wasteful to not like fill the other side, by the way. I do know that. But like at the time, as I was mentioning, I just wanted to sort of get this book over with, and like some days I just couldn't bring myself to draw, and it was like really pushing to draw, and it's really unfortunate that had to happen. And yeah, but it was just like sort of a tough few months for me. Killer Mouse, if you haven't seen that drawing, it's like some sort of delinquent with a mouse head mask thing, and he'd be assigned to do some jobs, we'll say, and yeah, it would be really cool to do like a little poster style, which looking back, I could probably get into it now, but yeah, I was really struggling with like one thing I want to do in the future is like incorporate graphic design and like tie in graphic design with my illustrations a bit more. So yeah, that's why this was going on there. And we're gonna hopefully do that in the future. This is cool. My leave behind was possibly going to be like this orange character that popped up. Like it was layered so that it had like that 3D effect to it, and like that was a character that I came up with, and I really enjoyed it so much. And then this is like an actual plant that I have, and I was just drawing like a little spread sticker thingy. And one of the things that I have learned, I think by this point, was that I could draw in pencil, and then if I had it in me, I could go back and like actually put it in like color or like line it or something like that, which is something I'll do in the future. Because some days I draw really crappy and it's very loose, but then you can render those things out and then make it better. So, yeah. random thing. This is portfolio ideas, warm-up sketches, sticker ideas, but also like this might be a cool thing to visit because I have so many different characters and some of them do actually have stories attached to them, so it might be cool to make like little zines, and maybe I'll like do Patreon or something and then send those out to Patreon members. I don't know. A lot of things is uncertain right now in life, so yeah, we'll see. References. For some of them. This is references. That's references. This, I don't know what's happening. But yeah, references once again, and trying to combine different mediums and whatnot, and just playing around with stuff, and like playing around with the style, because they do like hatching, but I don't know, their hatching just looks so nice, and I just am trying to wrap my head around it. So yeah. This was funny. Someone was like, you know, we were talking about being lactose intolerant. I'm not, thankfully, not yet at least, but like them eating cheese because they're lactose intolerant, and like it's for science. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if it was like a rat holding cheese and saying that? So I just drew this really quickly for them. This was like stylizing references, and like, yeah. I always visit this character design because it feels stuck, and I'm like, I can improve it, but I don't know how. So it's like the Blossom Witch, and I always try to improve her. I think we are getting closer to improving her to the point where I want to draw her, but yeah, that would take a session for me to work out again. Just references, you know, sushi, and just playing with hatching and different styles of that. This is really cool. But yeah, just like trying to get back into drawing. Half a face, part of a face. I think the proportions is a bit better here though, which is a surprise. But yeah, draw faces from references, get practice, and then do it yourself too. This, was it a speed painting? Is it up to do a speed painting? No, I don't think it is. But I did take this to Procreate because there were some colorful effects things that I was looking from the style inspiration, and like this is crazed look, just impassive look, and then like it's the hunter character again. But yeah. Oh, and it makes sense because her eyes were taken away by humans. More composition things about her. I told you she was very much like prominent in my mind when filling out the sketchbook. I wouldn't say it's her character though, by the way. It's just, it was just really prominent, and I was really trying to find a way to fix her story so then I could like write something. But it hasn't been really in the forefront anymore. Right now I'm working on Second Chances, which is the ex-military. She's a private investigator, but then she switches into photographer slash artist because like her marriage like fell out because she was very much into her work instead of taking care of that. So like that's part of the thing. But yeah, this is a really cool composition. I'd like to come back for this hunter character. Like these two are really cool, but this one specifically because it's like she's a substance of the doom, and at the time she had to be. This is a drawing of one of my friends. She visited me in Nova Scotia, which was very nice and very fun. Did some cool stuff, a lot of boat tours, got sunburned, sorry about that, if you're watching this. And yeah, we got to spend some time together because she was off work and I was finishing up school, and it was just a really fun time to be there. I know sometimes I have a resting bitch face, or sometimes I look like I don't like the presents. It's just because I am either just tired and like recuperating, or I'm just like no thoughts, brainless, you know. So I guess I do sort of kind of resting like angry face. But yeah, it was a really fun day, and we got yelled at by the security at the park because you're not supposed to sit anywhere on the grass. There's designated areas. So oops. Yeah, so a lot of these types where it's like half a page isn't filled or something, it's sort of me trying to get back into drawing, but then giving up because it's just been really hard lately. This was from a reference. I just like drawing eyes sometimes to warm up. It's just really fun, and it's very stylized to do. So yeah, this was also a figure drawing from a reference. Now this was really fun, and this sort of helped like to push me a little bit back into drawing. It's like little dessert things from references and then like stylized and whatnot. And it was just really fun to be able to like turn off my brain creatively and just copy something that I saw. And then we went to Krispy Kreme, which they had this Oreo donut that I love so much and that I always got. And I thought it would be really funny to make a little character out of that. And you can see like I'm trying different styles too. This was... Okay, hold up. It feels like there's another page. I guess not. Okay. This is... these are Swedish princess cakes, I believe, and they're so pretty. They're absolutely gorgeous from like the exterior to cutting it through. And these are like one of the fancier ones, but even just like the color of the dome, the green with the pink and whatnot, is just so gorgeous. And then I was doing a collab, doing like the base challenge with an Instagram artist friend that I have. Anyway, so we were doing that, and I was just trying to figure out the character designs of it. So I did it large, and then I translated it to chibi style, and yeah, so it was really fun, that project, and I enjoyed it. So, as I mentioned, the desserts really kicked off something, because I started doing, like, 2 spreads of just inspired by, like, strawberry desserts. Oh man, my camera stopped recording, but hopefully it got to that point where like I was talking about how this character was inspired by strawberries and like how fun it was to sort of have this happen. So yeah, enjoyed it, 10 out of 10. With that being said, so this is what I mean by like in the future I want to be able to do like a sketch of a spread and then to like come back and actually like ink it or whatever, because like it's a really cool spread and it'd be really solid if I inked it and whatnot. But at the time I didn't feel like inking it. But it's really cool just having like the desserts. It spreads across 2 pages. And like this is, oh man, Sir Blackberry? I'll put his name because my friend named the character. But I just thought it would be really cool. He's like a regal blueberry man. And you'll notice in the future we'll come back to this. But yeah, so it's just like really cool to do this whole spread. You know, him eyeing the dessert type thing. I should have moved the spoon towards the center though. That would have been cool. But yeah, and like maybe doing this digitally might be really cool in the future. So yeah, I was trying a different outfit because I wasn't really loving the look of this. I thought it'd be really tricky to like render out and like figure that out. But yeah, I played with something else and I played with those Tombow brush markers again. And it was a bit rough. I need to definitely work on like colors and whatnot and shading with colors. I think pencil crayons might be okay, but... and that's the other thing, these things matter. I will talk about that later. This is Blue. So the joke is sort of, he's related to this guy, to the Regal guy, so he's like an ancestor of Blue, and Blue's in like this sort of tight, techie cyber setting type thing. He has a bag that attaches to like these strap clips here, that he could just like click and remove and whatnot, and it was just really fun to design this character, one of my favorite characters, and he's also been on the forefront of my mind, and he actually is part of my digital portfolio, which is in the future. We'll take a look at. But yeah, so like fleshing out this character was really fun. This was the start of a commission piece for one of my friends. We did like an art trade, actually, which I'm pretty happy with. It was interesting. I did this on Procreate, which was fairly new to me, still sort of is fairly new to me because I don't do it a whole lot. But it was like really interesting to try to copy a style and whatnot, and I had some difficulties because I didn't choose the right canvas size and the right resolution, which is like an oopsie on my part. It's a bit different than setting up files for printing or digital in graphic design wise, but yeah, so it was a bit wild. This was like what I meant by doing sketches and then being able to come back and render it later. Just like the spider potion things, I'm hoping to do like some of these rendered out in the future. But for now, it's just sketches like these, so I have an idea in mind, composition especially, and hopefully we'll come back to this either digitally or traditionally. We'll see. Spider character, I was looking up spider references because of the legs. of this. I didn't really understand how spiders' legs were, but this would be like a cap for the potion bottles, and the potion bottle designs would probably vary. It might be really cool if like a wizard accidentally, or a wizard or an alchemist or something accidentally created these things. And that's why the potion bottles would be different for each one, because there was just like stray bottles that wandered into the wrong summoning circle or something. So yeah, it might be a cool thing to visit. This was the time that I was thinking about combining graphic design with illustration. You've seen this thumbnail before, and then like just references, my stylized version of that reference, and then just like playing around. More thumbnails of the character, because I was wondering about the 700s things, because their eyes would definitely be in jars, and like some of them are missing the second part of their eye because it's like either destroyed during the scoop or whatever. But I thought it'd be really cool to do like that kind of concept piece, poster piece thing. This was talking about trying to combine graphic design with illustrations, doing like these little trading cards, poster thingies, where I would have either couple cards where the names would be here and a little description of the couple and then a picture of the couples being in there, or like pictures of the characters. Playful characters or like more normal characters I feel like suits this, but anything like Brielle and the Hunter one, not so much. A bit too plain or playful. It doesn't really express who they are and their storylines. Once again, just warm-up sketches. This was from my head, surprisingly. And I'm actually stupidly proud of this sketch. And that, too, stupidly proud, not really having a reference, because that'd be really awkward. I'm left-handed, so that's why it would be awkward. But yeah, so just warming up and getting back into drawing, which leads us to Blue again. I forgot the little strap on the side here. Didn't pay attention to that. But yeah, I tried to do like a chibi style, and I tried to fit him in one of the frames for the card style thing that I was going to do. But yeah, just like really cute. Definitely would ink this in the future. We'll draw more Blue in there. But yeah, and Blue does not have a gender. It's a they, because how do you gender a fruit? I guess the fruit itself, isn't like the fruit itself like female or something? I don't know. That's a thought for later. And this is like thumbnailing for the future, and I thought it was really fun to play with the styles of like a big head, big hands, and like big feet. Just like a really cutesy style, which I'd like to revisit and do this either digitally or just do it again in color, because it sort of suffered when I tried to execute it recently. But yeah, I was going to visit back to the Regal version, the Ancestor, and I thought that the crown of the blueberries does matter, because Blue tends to have just like more straight crowns, and this one has like a fancy cowlick or something. Now this was what I was referring to when I said to get back into doing traditional art, because, hold up, because like I did this off a reference and it didn't turn out terrible. So yay, that's a win in my books, especially when it's surrounded by like such rough sketches of stuff. But yeah, you'll see a little peek of that progress in one of the videos, I think before this. So yeah. This was like a different take of the Hunter one for some odd reason. I changed her hairstyle. I think it was because I didn't flip back and look at what her original hairstyle was. But it started off with me just like, can I draw a face in my style with the proper proportion? And then like belladonnas, because belladonnas are poisonous. And they're like really crazy. And like she's deadly, silent deadly, and purpley blues are sort of her color. So that's why this. But I thought it'd be really cool because she's sort of represented by like wolves, I guess. This was like a cool sketch too, just trying out different things, and I was just trying to see if I could silhouette a figure and then add details in it with a pencil. But yeah, this is actually the last page. See, no more. But this was what I was talking about execution-wise. It's not quite the same colors as I imagined Blue to be, but it was a really cool concept, and I sort of kind of like the line art version without the colors in it, but I was just trying something new, and that's something I hope to do in the future sketchbooks, is like trying new techniques and things and like stepping outside of my very black and white comfort zone. But yeah, so that's like the end of the sketchbook. This was my friend's design, going to graphic design with school. Very interesting people and very fun people because they make cool stuff like that and like this that like really can really stick with you. But yeah, and then this is like a sticker that I made, and it's defected because the lamination sort of bubbled up. But yeah, I would like to revisit these stuff again. There's some like really cool ones. Like I have a sticker that says like "fucking bite me." It's actually here, like a "fucking bite me" sticker, and like I really enjoyed doing like the fruit labels with a twist on them. So yeah, maybe that's something I'll visit in the future. But that would be the end of my sketchbook. Thought Dumpster 3 is now completed. I can put this to rest, and we actually have a new sketchbook waiting for us to do. So I hope if you guys would like to join me for that, that you'll stick around for the next video, and I hope you guys all stay safe, stay hydrated, and just have a wonderful day. Bye!